Welcome to From the Trenches, success shortcuts revealed by real-world innovators crushing it right now. I'm your host, Scott Hartley, and we're back with another episode packed with actionable strategies from today's most successful entrepreneurs. If you're tired of generic business advice and ready for real cutting-edge tactics that are working right now, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into finding ways to improve our health for a better lifespan. And I can't wait for my guest to share with you her transformational insights. So let me introduce you to Alohana Jackson. Alohana started her wellness business in 1999, and since that time, she has shared safe and effective products, research, and experts' knowledge to help busy adults reach their health goals. Alohana lives in Evansville with her husband Joe and is a grandmother. So Alohana, it's been a while since I've seen you, but great to have you on the podcast today.
Thank you, Scott. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, so you and I got connected through a BNI networking many years ago. Remember how long ago that actually was, but it's been quite
Quite
a
a
few
while.
years.
Yes.
But at that time, you were heavy into the health and wellness space, and you just every time that you came to our BNI group, you were always sharing, how important that having our health really is. But unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff that's out there that's not so healthy for our bodies that we either take, by choice or, otherwise. And so, from my perspective, as a business owner, especially like listening to you and getting your emails and various things like that, one of the things that has kind of been impressed upon me is that, as a business owner, if we don't maintain our health, we really aren't going to have a business for very long. And I know that you've kind of experienced some things in your life as well. So I'd love to kind of hear your story, how you kind of got into the health and wellness space, and some of the insights that you have for us today.
Great, Scott. A lot of my background was in mental challenges, but along with that came physical as well because I was a picky eater as a child. And that doesn't help. That doesn't help. You got to have a balance.
Right?
So, and now I've fallen in love with vegetables. So I encourage everyone to fall in love with vegetables because it makes a difference. But the mental challenges growing up too, I just had a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry, a lot of concern and worry that just controlled my life. And
Hmm.
so I didn't realize that was connected to nutrition. I didn't realize I thought it would just go away as I aged, but it
Hmm.
didn't. So I had to learn to become healthier. I had to educate myself. And the more I did, the more I became successful in whatever job I was at the time, the
Hmm.
more I was able to sleep better, the more I was able to be more organized and everything because I began to get healthier.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't happen overnight. I had one health coach tell me that if you've been suffering from something for 3 years, then it's going to take 3 months before you begin to see a change as you start to get healthier.
Oh, wow.
So think
Okay.
about it that way. Yeah, because your body has gotten used to whatever your situation is for so long
Yeah.
that to see a change at all, it's going to take a few months for it to start
Hmm.
doing so. Because unlike medicine that may show an improvement in 2 days,
Hmm.
nutrition evolves over time.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So, and my business has evolved over time too, because as I've learned about taking care of myself and
Hmm.
what it takes, then I share that with others because most of my clients are working, career-oriented people.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
don't have time to Google, nor will they get the right answer. They don't have time to do research into products, which there are a variety of. And
Hmm.
they don't have time to figure out on their own what a scientist or a physician would tell them that would be of a natural approach.
Right. Yeah. I get you on being a picky eater because whenever I was a kid, like it was like very, and I'm still picky to this day. I really don't like vegetables, although I have started eating some. But yeah, that pickiness kind of, translates throughout the rest of your life as well and kind of
Yeah.
carries through with you. But and I like the fact that you mentioned more of the natural type of, remedies. I really try to avoid as much medication as I possibly can, just because it seems like, every commercial that you see on TV, oh, this pill is going to solve one thing, but it's going to cause 50 other problems potentially for you. So,
Exactly.
so tell us a little bit about kind of the research that you've done, on some of the natural remedies that have maybe even more effective solutions for a lot of the ailments that we experience.
I'd be glad to. In the process of healing myself, I've attended a lot of seminars, workshops, and also had coaches myself. My latest nutritional coach is out of Maine, and,
Okay.
and got a master's in nutrition and an expert in helping people find ways to heal naturally. And so I've used those resources, and I use whatever they teach me to share with my audience. But I
Hmm.
also read a lot of books and try to delve into what is going to be best for the busy person. Because last year, our speaker at the Shackley conference was Dr. Peter Attilia, who helps you find a better lifespan,
Hmm.
not a health span, but lifespan. Because if you want to live to be 90, don't you want to be healthy too at the same time? So it's
Right.
more than just being, yeah, it's together. So
Yeah.
listening to him was really fascinating about what little things can turn into big things about your cardiovascular shape or
Hmm.
your muscle strength or your brain strength. And so I love to share all of that. And I ask a lot of questions. I do so with permission, of course, but I ask a lot of questions of people in front of me to find out what it is that really, really needs to be changed.
Hmm. Yeah. And, speaking of, that lifestyle, I think it was on TV the other day, 100-year-old guy that was working at, I think it was a Home Depot. And
Yes.
like he had a lot of energy and everything. And it's like, you see, some of these older people and you're just like stunned at how mobile they are. And they've got, their full mental capacity and they're just energetic and excited about life. And it's like, what is your secret? How are you still getting around when I'm, almost 50 years old? It's like some days I don't even want to get out of bed. So,
I recently heard someone tell me about an 87-year-old woman who still cleans a couple of houses for some minimal income on the side, which is
hmm,
a difficult job. And she's disappointed because there are not many people her age to do things with because they're not
yeah,
capable.
right.
She's she's a minority in being able to do whatever she wants to do at 87.
Hmm. Yeah. And so, obviously you're kind of on a mission to help change that, for people. But you also mentioned that, you've got a lot of busy entrepreneurs that you work with and everything. What are some of the tips, maybe the top three, top five things that you're helping them with, or ideas that you could share with our audience that they really should be considering as they're trying to grow their business, but also maintaining a healthy lifestyle?
One of the things that affects a lot of us who are in business is sleep. If we don't get enough sleep, if we don't get a quality sleep, we are not as productive the next day. We
Hmm.
can't think as clearly, we can't articulate as clearly. So, making sleep a priority of at least 7 hours, if you can get more, great, but 7 hours, and finding a way to do it consistently will make a
Hmm.
huge difference in your outlook on business. And the
Yeah.
second one is water. Is if you don't drink enough, you're probably going to have a headache and be dehydrated. I'm guilty of that sometimes of just sitting here at my computer and forgetting that I need to get to the counter and get some more water. But
Right.
64 ounces doesn't seem like a lot, but it's still remembering to do so. Remember to keep doing
Hmm.
a lot of water. And then
Yeah.
the third thing is movement. If you don't move, your body's not going to be moving at 87 very well, 90 very well. So movement, whether it's being a walk, whether it's going to the gym, whatever fits in your lifestyle that attracts you to be able to do it consistently
Hmm.
is very important. So three things is sleep, prioritize water and then movement.
Yeah. And I think, as you mentioned those, it's like I have challenges in all three of those areas. And I feel like most people probably do, right? What are some of your tips? Let's kind of like dive deep into each of those. What are some of your tips to help people get better sleep?
Sleep, for one, is developing a routine where you try to go to bed similar to the same time every night. Your body gets in a habit. Therefore, for me, it's 9:30, 10 o'clock. And by 9 o'clock, I'm beginning to yawn. I'm ready and get in a habit. But I also make sure that I don't bring any electronics into my bedroom. My phone is not in my bedroom. It's not going to disturb me. It's not near me. I put it somewhere else to charge.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Calls can still come through to family, if something happens, but nothing else. It's quiet. I'm quiet. And
Right.
and also, don't drink too much before bedtime because it may cause you to have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
So, and as you age, sometimes that happens more. But try to limit it maybe to 2 hours before or 1 hour before, and then
Mm-hmm.
watching how late you eat. And if you need a sleep aid, do something naturally with it. We have, I recommend a tea or something that's got a little bit of melatonin maybe, but something that would help you sleep. And you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to do it every day. You don't have to do it every night for sure, but just have a pattern to your
Hmm.
sleep and make
Yeah.
sure it's a priority. And then be comfortable. Don't wear tight fitting clothes. Make sure you've got comfortable clothes on and the room is cooler maybe, so that
Mm-hmm.
way you feel more comfortable.
Yeah. And the tea that you were talking about, is that kind of like the chamomile tea things, along those type of lines?
My e-business has a product, a tea, rest and rewind tea, that is a mint
Okay.
tea that has been effective. I've had a lot of men actually request it and use it,
Hmm.
and they said that they sleep so much better. They get a deeper sleep because of it. But there's
Mm-hmm.
also others out there like chamomile and others as well.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and the cool room I think is really important, for me. My house, I turn the heat down to at least 67, maybe 65, just so that my room is nice and cool. And even here in the wintertime, we're recording this in December, even though it's going to be a February episode. But like I keep my bedroom window cracked just a little bit just to kind of have some of that cool air, coming in as well. So
You can do that. That's a great practice.
yeah. So we have, sleep, and then, you're talking about drinking plenty of water. Um,
Yes.
I personally hate the taste of just plain water. And then, of course, like you had mentioned, it's like, oh, you just get your head down and you're sitting at your desk, you're working so hard, and you forget to take a sip, every so often. What are some things that, for maybe people who don't drink enough water or they just don't like water, they prefer that soda? What's kind of some of your recommendations on that?
Well, for one thing, let's start with coffee. A lot of people are coffee drinkers. For every cup of coffee, you should drink a glass of water because that helps dissipate the caffeine in your system.
Okay.
So try to do that habit and say, okay, I want another cup of coffee, but I got to have my water first. And it can be 8 ounces, it can be 10 ounces. It doesn't have to be a lot, but it makes a
Hmm.
difference. For me, I'm a tea drinker. So for every glass of tea, then the next glass has to be water. Then the next glass is tea.
Okay.
It's like giving yourself a treat.
Hmm.
Um, but also, if you're not a water lover, try putting lemon juice or try putting a little something in there to alter it that you like, whether it is lemon, whether it is mint, whether it is peppermint, whether it's something,
Hmm.
change it up a little. So eliminate the coffee or tea in that next glass of water, but you can flavor it a little bit with something and
Hmm.
change it up a little, but still get the water effect.
Yeah.
That's a suggestion as well. And then some people have a big mug that they can measure. I've seen a lot of ladies do that. Then they have
Hmm.
like a 20 ounce or a 30-ounce container, and that helps remind them, oh, yeah, that's empty. So I've gotten at least 30. I got to do it one more time. And
Hmm.
so I don't do that, but I try to carry water in the car wherever I go, filtered water.
Yeah.
And if you get filtered water, that is better than bottled water. That's better than tap water. So we have
Hmm.
a system called Culligan underneath our sink in our kitchen.
Hmm.
That has provided the best tasting water, and it's got reverse osmosis and everything. So if you have an option to either get a pitcher to filter it or
Hmm.
something at your house, then that is the best way because water does carry contaminants that are dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've seen, some younger people, they're carrying around water jugs, and stuff, and they're just drinking, their water all the time. So, what's kind of some tips that you might have to like help people jog their memory to remember to drink more water?
A great thing is a reminder on your phone because we all have either calendars or some sort of way you can put a reminder on your phone or on your computer. Or what I do is I fill a glass of water the night before. So when I get up in the morning, I see it sitting there because I like it room temperature. I'm the odd
Okay.
one. I don't want it real cold or real hot. It's room temperature. And so then I'll drink that. And I've gotten a habit after reading the book Atomic Habits. I got in the habit of drinking that first thing after I hit the floor because your body is already dehydrated when you wake up. Everyone
Mhm.
is.
Yeah.
So drink a glass right away, and that starts to make things move. It helps your digestion, it helps your brain, it helps wake your body up because your brain is 70% water. So if you want to have a good productive day, start your day with a glass of water right before you even do any coffee.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd heard a while back, that starting your day off with water really just kind of gives your body a huge jump start, on that. And you mentioned a while ago about, the headaches and everything. And I knew that like, okay, I'm probably dehydrated. And so I did, start drinking a lot more water more consistently. And ever since I've done that, like my headaches have really reduced in frequency and even in intensity.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah,
So
you've been dehydrated, and that's why. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I'm not a heavy drinker of anything. Like I limit myself to 1 cup of coffee a day. Otherwise, I know I'm going to be way too wired throughout the day. But just drinking throughout the day, I really have to remind myself, it's like, okay, there's my bottle of water, like take a sip. Just because my body just doesn't like remind me on its own, to do that. But it is so critically important. Yeah.
Correct. Exactly.
So we have our sleep, we have drink enough water, and what was the third one again?
Movement.
Movement. That's right. Yes. So, it's cold right now. Well, nobody wants to get outside and move, do the walks and all that type of thing. What are some of the things that people can do to, or that we should be doing to try to get enough movement, especially if we are so focused on our work and so many of us are sedentary?
Correct. And I read something where there was a study that the next biggest crisis is people that sit too much because your body cannot handle that, and it's really detrimental to your health. So you need to put a reminder on your phone that every 90 minutes at least that you get up out of your chair, you either take a lap around the house or either just touch your toes for a couple, up and down and do something just simple, real simple, or go
Hmm.
to the kitchen and get another glass of water and come back. But you need to get out of the chair. You need to look away from your computer for your brain, but
Yeah.
also for your body, and just swing your arms because that makes circulation better. Just swing your arms back and forth, just
Hmm.
anything like that. And if you're stuck inside this time of year, which is really tough, because I like to walk outside and I will bundle up unless it gets below 20. Then I probably,
Hmm.
yeah. Or I'll go to the mall, which is kind of boring, but I will go to the mall and walk. And if you
Yeah.
don't have a mall, then you're struck. But I will actually deliberately walk the whole aisles of Meijer's store sometimes. If the weather's really
Okay.
bad, but I got a
Uh-huh.
grocery shop, I will take the cart and I will push it up almost every aisle. And I'll be one of those slow shoppers.
Hmm.
Try to get a lot of steps in and just do that because you got to be there anyways to get groceries.
Yep.
Uh, and then there's a lot of free apps on YouTube that
Hmm.
I use. So if I only have 20 minutes in a day, then
Hmm.
I will try to set my alarm a little bit earlier that day, knowing it's a crazy day, and do 20 minutes of stretching. If all
Hmm.
you do is stretching, you are waking your body up. You are getting circulation going. I just did an hour of yoga about an hour before this,
Hmm.
and I try to do yoga with a group every Tuesday because I get more out of it. I'm pushed a little harder than on my
Sure.
own.
Right.
Somebody's watching me, you know.
Get that motivation and the accountability, right?
Yeah, yeah, and as we age too, the one thing you need to add is if you can add any resistance training, like push-ups on the wall is one. That you don't
Hmm.
have to do them on the floor. You can put them on the wall. Take some free weights and just lift them for a little bit, just safely. But limit if you only have 10 minutes, whatever, you got to fit it in your schedule and block it out. Use your calendar like you do an appointment. Let's say you're going to meet with Scott for an hour, then you need to schedule after that maybe 10 minutes of something different to get
Hmm.
yourself out of that chair and make a movement. So, and I think a lot of us are guilty of thinking that it's selfish to schedule time to work out
Right. Yeah.
when it makes a difference because you're going to be a better productive business person if
Yeah.
your body has been moved that day. So for me, I've done my hour of yoga. I probably will still do a couple planks and some wall push-ups this afternoon
Hmm.
because I've got a lot of computer time later tonight and some Zooms tonight. So I want to keep my brain engaged as well because whatever you do as you age, exercise wise, is good for your brain.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
fitting it in, you got to use your calendar. I use my calendar. I use my phone to remind me, say, hey, it's been 90 minutes if I knew I'm going to sit here and focus on something on the computer and then
Hmm.
time to get up. So that's what I do.
Awesome. Yeah, there's so many apps out there now that, can help us, remind ourselves like, hey, you need to be doing some movement. You need to get away from your computer, give your eyes a break and that type of thing. Something that I've used, and you may have noticed, as we're doing this, is especially when I'm on Zoom calls, I have a standing desk. So that way I'm not sitting all the time. I can actually stand and have a conversation when I'm in different meetings. And at the co-working space that I go to, they have not only have standing desks, but at one of them, they have a little mini treadmill that you can actually walk on while you're standing at the standing desk doing your work. So simple little adjustments like that, would also be helpful for people.
That is fantastic. I live in a smaller house now, and I'm not sure how I would facilitate that. And well, I might take up less space, though. I don't know. But that's a great idea to have a standing desk because that is really good for your body. Because I judge horse shows, and I have to
Yep.
stand for 10, 12 hours at a time. So any chance I get to stand and especially when it's getting closer to time to go do a show, I want to be able to
Mhm.
have the endurance for that. So I try to stand as much as I can.
Yeah. Yeah. If you've got, situations where you do have to stand for a while, and, I know for myself that I found it's like, oh, okay, I've been sitting way too long. And then when I need to be up for long periods of time, my body is saying, go sit down. You need to go take a break. Right. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So I know that, with supplements and everything, and you had helped me several years ago when I was dealing with a lot of sinus, issues and everything, and you gave me a supplement that, really did help alleviate that, but it was not a medical product. It was a natural supplement. So it didn't have a lot of the, nasty side effects that medicines and everything may have. Tell us a little bit about the supplements that you typically recommend for your clients that are busy entrepreneurs.
I like to say that I provide side benefits. So I don't provide any side effects, but side benefits. So
Uh-huh.
the supplements I share, I've come from a company that's very reputable. It's been around since 1956 and very particular about the raw ingredients. I don't know of many companies out there that are that particular and also research and test every raw ingredient. So I
Mm,
really like that. I really think that's important. I am particular too about what I share with people because I want to find out what's best for them.
mhm.
We have a guarantee. You certainly could try it, and after 30 days, nothing's different. You get your full money back, which I don't think will happen from Target or GNC.
Right?
Throwing that out there. But I also want to be particular because I don't want you taking five different supplements and not really sure which one's working for you when we should start out with one or two maybe and
Hmm.
see. I've got a client right now who's working to overcome Bell's palsy symptoms that she's had for 5 years.
Hmm.
I've got somebody else who's making sure they don't have to take a statin because their cholesterol got a little high
Hmm.
and they don't want to. So it's a variety of people that are, ages 20 to 70 that have looking for answers that don't have side effects
Hmm.
because they're concerned. So I'm not a physician. I don't recommend medication. I don't diagnose someone. I share suggestions that physicians and scientists would come up with. One of
Hmm.
the tools that I use is a nutritional survey that is created by scientists and nutritionists.
Okay.
And it's a 5-minute survey that asks about your lifestyle, your diet, your sleep habits, your genetics, and all those things. And in 5 minutes, it'll print out a report and suggest certain supplements for you that are related to what you exactly said in your questions, your
Hmm.
answers. And
Interesting.
it makes things easy for me because it's the
Yeah.
scientists and the doctors that are saying this is what's best for you.
Hmm.
So that's quite often if a person does that, that's where we start
Yeah.
to use those because these products are meant to be in addition to a good diet. They're not meant to be in addition, they're not meant to be the only thing because I feel like you got to look at the whole picture like we talked about. How is your sleep?
Hmm.
Are you drinking water? Are you moving? Or some questions I always ask. But then
Yeah.
I say, what are you eating?
Yeah.
And so supplementing is not going to make up for a poor diet,
Right.
but it's going to be in addition to your diet so that you can age better and live longer and have a lifespan that's worth having.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, one of those things. I mean, if you look at a lot of, cultures, outside the United States, their food is better in many ways. It doesn't have a lot of the junk fillers and the sugars and all of that type of stuff. And so, unfortunately, here in the United States, we have a lot of that around us. So we can't avoid that, totally. But it's amazing to me the number of stories that I see of people who've had diabetes or other ailments, and they just simply change what they eat, and they don't have to take that medicine any longer. And
Right.
then of course they could, get some additional benefits from things like supplements, to kind of fill in the gaps where maybe their diet isn't, as strong. But it's amazing that if we just really focus on, what we put in our bodies, like
Yes.
we can really control a lot of the ailments that many of us are afflicted with.
Right. 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 It makes a huge difference what you consume, how much protein you get. I could talk about protein for more than an hour because it just makes a huge difference, especially as you age, because
Mhm.
it seems that the older you get, the less you want to eat, but you've got to be pretty particular about what you are eating to have a quality of life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Alana, I know that you've got a free gift that you would like to offer our listeners. So you want to share a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I have actually two choices. I have a caffeinated option and a non-caffeinated option of samples to send you worth $25. So what I would find out from the person when they email me was what would interest them because I always like to tailor something to the person to see if they would like to try it that way. So I would send it off to you. So email me and we would have a discussion about that and I would share something with you. That's my gift.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. And of course, we'll make sure that we put your email address into the show notes so that way people can communicate with you. They can say, do I want some caffeine or do I want the caffeine free option on that? So, well, Alana, thank you for joining me today. Health is so very important for busy business owners. So I appreciate you sharing your insights on that. That's all for today's episode of From the Trenches. And again, remember to email Alana requesting your gift bag of samples of the variety products worth $25. We'll put her email address in the show notes so that you'll have that handy. And if you're looking to supercharge your email marketing, check out my book, Hit the Inbox, at hittheinboxbook.com. It's packed with 76 pages of strategies to get your emails landing in inboxes and driving sales. Thanks for tuning in today. If you found value in this episode, please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on your favorite platform. It helps us reach more entrepreneurs like you. And until next time, keep crushing it in the trenches.